Here's our baseball insider, Steve Phillips. George Springer sends the Blue Jays to the World Series with one of the most impressive home runs in franchise history. And a remarkable comeback, Steve, considering that knee injury for Springer in game number 5. This guy's just a true playoff performer, isn't he?
Oh, my gosh. 23 postseason home runs, 9 go-ahead home runs in the postseason for him. He's an absolute stud. He is the heart and soul of the Toronto Blue Jays. This was reminiscent of Kirk Gibson, 1988 World Series, limping up the home plate, hitting the home run, limping around the bases. I mean, it was a shock even that George Springer was going to be able to play both in Game 6 and 7. Not only does he play, comes up with the biggest swing of the bat. What a clutch performance. Listen, credit Barger for getting on in front of him. Credit Kiner for Leffa. Credit the bunt for Jimenez to be able to get them over. But the big home run for George Springer coming through in the clutch. And no better guy to do it for this team. He is the heart and soul. He has been that guy when they struggled early on that pulled them out of the doldrums. That energy was there, led them to the All-Star break. It was even better after the All-Star break. So fitting for him to be the guy. This is why they signed him, to bring him to Toronto, was to lead them to the playoffs and help them win in the postseason as well.
Steve, I just can't believe the season this guy had. It's just incredible. Where do you think this home run ranks all-time in Blue Jays postseason history?
I mean, it's not Joe Carter because it's not the World Series, but it's right up there after that. I think, listen, the Jose Bautista home run, the bat flip, but this is the team that now is going to the World Series. It is a Game 7 home run that put them ahead to hold on and win. I mean, honestly, just behind Joe Carter, it's probably the next home run in all of that. And what a crowd they're celebrating this team tonight. The energy, the noise, the cameras were shaking in the stadium. And I think everybody's celebrating what was an epic at-bat and an epic home run from George Springer.
The Blue Jays get 3 2/3 out of Shane Bieber, Steve, and then they turn to the bullpen. What did you make of the pen's performance, and what did you make of John Schneider's decision-making in Game 7?
Yeah, I think where as much as there has been criticism, John Schneider deserves some credit. Not a surprise he went to Louis Varland. He loves him. He's a warrior. He's a workhorse. He's taken the ball just about every game in the postseason and gotten the job done. Yeah, I know he gave up a home run, but you know what? This guy is a bulldog on the mound, and he limited that to just the one run. Then Sir Anthony Dominguez, Gosman coming in, and I love that John Schneider used all available arms. Go ahead and use Kevin Gosman. The intentional walk with 2 outs to Cal Raleigh to put him on base. Now they walk Naylor after that, and you're thinking, uh-oh, but they get out of it. Great job by Gosman. Chris Bassett coming out of the bullpen with his assortment of pitches, tricking everybody. And then I think that, listen, when you think about Hoffman and what he ended up doing after throwing 2 innings, 35 pitches in Game 6, coming into Game 7, striking out the side and closing it out with an exclamation point. That was for John Schneider. With all of the noise around this team, with all of the questions, all of the criticism, he pushed every right button in Game 7, and they now get ready to head to the World Series.
Steve, Vladdy Guerrero Jr. was named ALCS MVP. You're in the state, we're maybe a little biased up here in Canada. You're in the States. Did Vladdy take a step into superstar status with his postseason performance this year?
Oh, absolutely. I think everybody is aware of superstars in the regular season, and then it comes down to the separation. Okay, that's great, but what are you going to do in the postseason? That's where we're really going to define who you are. For Aaron Judge, that was a challenge until he hit over 400 this year and had over 500 on base percentage in the postseason. But then they're saying, well, he didn't hit enough home runs, so it wasn't that great. It was that way for Barry Bonds back in the day. He can't hit in the postseason until he did. Alex Rodriguez couldn't hit in the postseason until he did. And for Vladimir Guerrero Jr., this is a legacy-building performance. He has shown that ability to take responsibility for the $500 million contract, the maturity level that he has shown, the performance. He did it not just swinging the bat with the 6 home runs so far in the postseason. He's played an outstanding defense at first base. He's run the bases well, and he is the guy that celebrates everybody else on the team. When your best player, who everybody celebrates, is celebrating every other guy on the roster, that is how a team comes together, and he has shown that accountability and responsibility as the star of this team.
Plus, he wore that Austin Matthews jersey to the game. Looks like it didn't affect them after all. Steve, looking ahead to their upcoming series with the Dodgers, how does this team stack up against the defending World Series champs?
Right. So the Dodgers are a really good team. I mean, they've got 5 pitchers that could be the best starting pitcher on the Blue Jays. But they don't have a great bullpen. And so the key is going to be to get their starters out of the game. And that's what the Blue Jays' bread and butter is offensively. They work the count. They foul off pitches. They don't chase. They force pitchers to work, and they grind at bats. And what you want to do, get the pitch count up, get the starter out, and get into the soft underbelly of that Dodgers bullpen. If you can do that, you've got a chance to win. And the Blue Jays are tremendous at coming from behind. The most come from behind wins this year in baseball. They're a great defensive team. They don't give extra outs. They don't give extra bases. And so they've got a chance to keep it close and late in the game find a way to beat the Dodgers. And they're going to have to steal one from Roki Sasaki in that 9th inning where he's been great at times, but he has shown some vulnerability that things can get away from him. I think there's a shot for the Blue Jays to shock the world and shock LA and win the World Series.
Steve will be with us covering the World Series. We'll be chatting with him throughout. Can't wait for that. Game 1 Friday at Skydome. This is our Baseball Insider, Steve Phillips.